Hi, my name is Matt Carroll with World Class Coaching and with the help of Academy Sports Coach 2025. I want to talk to you about a session that I designed today for team building. End of the year, we always do Google Form. What did you learn this year? How did you feel that you were well respected? Did you feel that your goals met? Everything like that. And we always talk about like, is there anything we could have done more? Did you feel accepted by the coaches? What would you change? What would you keep? What would you, be like, make this a mainstay, or what would you be like, hey, like maybe we think about something else for this? And they go through and some of the drills. They're like, hey, this one's annoying. I get it, but I didn't like it, or this one's good. But consistently, every single time I get, no matter what, is things we can improve are team building. This year we went laser tag. We spent the whole summer together. We went to stuff. We had, a couple years ago, I think we had a World Cup party when we had that. So we tried to have some watch parties. After every win, we went out to eat, and even then, they were still like, we want more team bonding. We want that building. And I think that's a lot of it's a lot of players right now. A lot of players in today's day and age. It's much more of a social thing than maybe was in the past. It's always been that way, but I think even more so that is imperative for them to enjoy the experience. When your players are happy and they like going out to practice, because practice, especially in the high school season, where you have it so much, or if you're driving to practice in club and things like that, and you're going back and forth, and I got to get in the car. It can weigh on players in a longer season before they get their break. I think if they enjoy their environment, you're going to see not only are happier players, but you're going to see improved performances. So once in a while, I like to pepper in a session something like this, just to keep things loose, keep them enjoying themselves. Kind of hit that. They said that was what their need is, and we're trying to meet that. So one thing I like to do with my sessions is before we start, I love putting out I have a little soccer tennis net. I think I got like a Soccer Post gift card for Christmas one year and bought that. I bring it, out for my kids. They play like tennis in the street, or I'll bring it before club or high school practice. In the high school season, I just kind of leave it there and just have them. If you're there first, if you're at the practice first, you can go get first on the net. And I've had players that like we're leaving, we're getting everything up. They're like, hold on, we're finishing up our game. We'll meet you over there, or coming out like running out early to try to get to be first on the nets. And just that part of it. A, it's great technical work, obviously. And B, it's nice for the players to want to be out there, to get excited to go out to practice, and just even watching your buddies and kind of nudging them and talking to them is also just bringing you're coming into practice with the ideology of like, I'm here, this is enjoyable. You're starting that tone off to practice, like I'm here, I'm having fun, I'm with my buddies, we're playing soccer, but it's fun, and I'm ready to work with these guys. And I think we have a lot of positive benefits from that. One thing my old school used to have is we had tennis courts. So we would have full-on tournaments on days maybe when the rain was too much for the pitch, but we had the leaf blower out and blow off the water. Another thing was like they would go out first. It was a long walk to the practice field, and the tennis courts were on the way. So guys would put their bags down and then run over the tennis court, play, and then when we got over there. So just kind of using your environment, what you have available. One thing we've done before is with the goalies, to give them kind of a little bit of individual work and something specific to their position, but that still that team building aspect is we would do wall ball, where just throw on the wall. You can't double touch. You have to catch it, throw it against the wall. If you double touch, you drop it. Someone else throws the wall before you tag the wall. You're out. Just old school playground stuff, and just to get again, start that practice and get that focus and mindset. Like, this is a fun game. I'm having fun. I want to do this. Let's go play more and get into some of the more serious stuff. Some of the other stuff I like to do is juggle circles. So we'll have able to start this line, end at this line, and you'll just have to juggle in the circle. They're all holding hands, and if the ball drops for whatever reason, they have to stop and do a push-up and get back up, hold hands again, restart the juggle circle, and they'll race against another team. And this is one, I chalked it off for taking 5 minutes, whatever, but it ended up being a 15, 20-minute thing because they're just, no, let's do it again. Like, let's run it back. No, we got it this time. And then they're talking strategy and, all right, this time this is what we're going to do. And those are conversations you want them having. It might not seem like related. It's like, they're just talking about this juggling drill. But when they get comfortable being in that position of, I'm teaching, I'm instructing, I'm taking charge, that builds that confidence and like, I can't kind of, take the lead on certain things. If I know what I'm talking about, why not tell them what I think we should do? And it makes players a little bit more comfortable doing that when it comes to actual play within the game. Plus, it's just really fun, keeps moving, getting great touches, but also like activating physically, especially as a warm up, and just kind of getting ready for the session. Another one we'll do is let me clear this board we will have call this the squeeze game. So we'll have 3 players that will line up. We'll have them sit holding hands here, all next to each other. So yellow team's on one team, they're all holding hands. Black's on one team, they're all holding hands. So what we do is, oh, too many players in yellow. He's way too far up. So move him back a little bit. All right. So what we have is a ball and a goal. Okay. So a ball and a goal. And what we'll have is a player on the end here will have their eyes open. Everyone else will have their eyes closed. And this this player on the end here will look at the coach who's here. And the coach will hold up, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, whatever that may be. And each of these players on the ends then has to squeeze the person next to their person's hand the amount of times it was held up. So then they do that to the next person, goes down the lane. So if you have like 18 players, it gets real fun. But so let's say it's 3 squeezes. All right, gets to the end. This person yells out the number. If they say 2 and it's the right number, they can go and they immediately get to go get the ball. Black then can respond, but they obviously don't have a head start. So you're basically fighting for the head start here, and then go 1v1 to goal and try to score with like a 15, 30 second, depending on what you want, a time limit before that ends. So it doesn't become this drawn out 1v1 forever, and everyone's kind of waiting. But it's a little bit like nonverbal communication. They're physically sitting close. There's a bond to being physically close with other people. They're communicating again. They're trusting someone to communicate through them, and they're trusting that person. They're trying to communicate that message to the person in the front, and they're reacting to different stimuli. You squeeze your hand. Okay, that's an activation. They're getting used to being able to recognize cues and react to it. And it gets fun. Someone messes it up. They do 4 instead of 2. Like, come on, they're on each other about it, and they get frustrated. And so if the person calls out the wrong number, they have to sit back down and they have to start back over again until the other person gets it. So it's kind of, you're not going to win if that happens to you. So you really want to be paying attention and making sure you're communicating appropriately with the person next to you. So what I would do from here, honestly, is I maybe go small-sided and have them pick teams. Now, how you want to do that, maybe make it like seniors. I'll make it random. I'll do someone, they all have pink boots, and I'll call them up, and be like, why are they the captains? And someone has to guess. That's a little fun stuff you can do. And to make this special, it's like, hey, I want you to play openly. If you're joking like that and your kind of things, especially for a team building one, we're not looking for this serious style of soccer. Like, you have to play to my style and things like that. At this point, we really want them being, comfortable in the game and freestyling and trying moves and being a little more relaxed and enjoying their game. Because then I think, when we play in our systems, some of that is lost. Some of that creativity and things they can do off the ball and on the ball and stuff like that, it's kind of, it just fits within your structure, and you're trying to win games, and obviously, but this kind of breaks away from it and lets them, establish a little bit of flair, which again kind of rejuvenates them and makes them enjoy the game. It maybe makes them more confident to try some of these things they normally want to do because they feel more confident with it. And for you, maybe you might pick something up that you get to see from them, like, oh, I didn't know he could do that, and you can pull it into the game. But again, free flowing, having fun. Do round robin picks. Make if you have to pick a freshman and then a senior, so you're mixing it up a little bit and kind of smoothing it out. You can pick teams, have them preloaded, but I think you kind of lose the luster there of them having the autonomy and feeling like they're in control and running their own game and how they're playing it. Then everyone loves scrimmage, and with a good scrimmage, make some kind of thing. Losers don't, they have to clean up. Whatever losers get to pick. I worked with working with a softball team. We did. They had to run and get a stick, and they had to pile the sticks to make a fire, and they had to run out to the wood or something like that. But just something creative, just to kind of loosen things up and kind of break the grind of what is a very long club or high school season. So I'd love to know in the comments some of the things you guys do for team building and the ways you incorporate that into your sessions, but also like when and where do you find this appropriate? When do you buckle down? When do you allow those them to have that kind of freedom of decision making in their choices and their practices. So once again, my name is Matt Carroll with World Class Coaching, and with the help of Academy Sports Coach 2025, I hope this session finds you well.